It's already on. Just hold on.
She's doing
something. You guys could, are you gonna stick around the game? Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. Trust us. It ain't bad, bro. It ain't bad.
16 hour 45.
TV game pretty good on TV.
Hour 45, hour 30.
Those TV guys, they got it down. They know what to show you. Sounds good. Hey, how are you? No, I mean like this playoff.
There was like the NBA or
Whoever. Oh. Yeah, but yeah, it was going.
I think it's like, can I make a quick run out to Omaha? Kansas City and drive a cowboy with my daughter. Stay away from the chicken. My dad's gonna drive me. My mom is giving her a cow.
See you guys.
They went
that story last year.
my daughter
During the season, they were so bad.
I was like,
I do like a weekly like
radio doesn't radio.
I do like something like
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Now it's like, Casey Story story last year. They're just so bad.
I'll buy it in the morning and we'll just drive it out.
There's my coat. You guys.
Yeah, but yeah, my
You
dad.
guys are all smart.
I'll drive it there and I'll do it. It's been a while.
I'll get every Blackbird.
There you go.
Katie's cup of car. Tomorrow.
I do.
You got it.
Locked in.
What's going on?
David Adelman, the hard-hitting stuff out of Waverly. Did you see what Joker wore in the arena?
No.
It's like a Joker suit, like the purple and green.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so follow up on the important stuff.
That's
Is he the type to make a statement with what he wears?
not that I remember. But you should ask him that question. I'm not part of how he dresses every day. That's pretty cool though.
Coach, obviously, the game one, game two, vastly different environments, vastly different scenarios and situations for your team. Just what are you hoping the team flushes from game two, and what are you hoping that they take from it?
Well, environment will be different. I mean, we're here, which is nice. Yeah, you can't ignore game one because there were positives there of why we stayed in the game. But the first half of game one was the whole game of game two. The aggression, the mistakes with the ball, spacing, patience to execute, which I feel like I've talked about a lot in the playoffs. But we're back home, and you hope that you kind of balances you out a little bit. We had 2 days or whatever, a day and a half to talk yesterday, talk today, get ourselves back to where we need to be. And I think the most important thing, as I keep saying it, is just like turning the page the right way, being responsible about what you've done the first 2 games. Like I said, trying to carry the positive stuff to game 3 and making sure that our awareness to what they were like from the tip is much higher and very different. So it's 1-1. I'm really excited for this I'm excited for the game, excited for the fans. I mean, Friday night, it's going to be sweet. So really hyped for the environment, but also hyped for our guys. It's like I said yesterday, I feel like I talked to you guys like 8 times since game 2. You know, it's a new game, and it's a chance to just bring a new energy to what we're trying to accomplish in the series. And this will be its own thing, like I've said, and I'm excited to get started.
We've talked a little bit about bringing the first punch rather than responding. Christian seems to be the guy when he brings that first punch. You guys are a different team. How do you make sure Christian is like ready to go and you know, just physicality and you know, raring at the seams right from the tip?
He's ready. They're all ready, and you know, I thought it was pretty abstract for us to not be ready in game 2, but you give them credit as well. I mean, they punched us multiple times, so I think all the men in that room, from what I saw in the film session yesterday, and like I said, the walkthrough today, there was a hyper focus to what we're about to go do. Does that mean you're going to win the game? No, but that's a professional approach to a high-level NBA playoff game. So excited to see our reaction to what happened down there.
Lou Dort is obviously extremely savvy at drawing the illegal screen. I'm curious going into this series if there's anything that you kind of tell your screeners in particular about trying to avoid the trappings of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are foul artists on both ends. I'm not concerned about us if he's going to get 1 a game or whatever it is. You just hope that if they're calling that, maybe they'll take a look at how he's guarding Jamal. There's 2 sides to that. There's the illegal screen part of it, and there's the holding, grabbing part of it. So if they're both called the same way, hey, you know, fair game. I thought KCP was always like that. You know, he would get that call, but sometimes, you know, they would even that thing out, and there was pulling and grabbing, and Pope was incredible at it. So it goes both ways, and Jamal has to fight through the physicality. He's got to do a better job setting up Dort so we can get a proper hit on him. But Lou Dort is a unbelievable high-level defender. The effort he gives out there is incredible. So we'll do the best job we can of making sure that we get a hit legally on him.
Coach, last game notwithstanding, what's your theory on why home court doesn't seem to be as valuable as it used to?
It's a great question. You know, it's funny. I think it might be the 3-point line. I really do. I think it's the great equalizer right now in our game. I also think that's why you see more blowouts in the playoffs, because there's teams that you can get hot and make 20, 22 threes. You know, people are so into that. You know, it can get out of control very quickly. And I don't know why, but I feel like this generation of players, maybe it's the way they grew up playing AAU and traveling all over the place and playing, they're less likely to feel as much anxiety on the road. Not to mention, man, I've said this before, growing up in this, we used to play in college stadiums in the playoffs back in the day, and now we play in these beautiful modern arenas that aren't as loud. They're not. So that used to be a major impact factor, you know, when you'd go play at the Salt Palace or Memorial in Portland or Phoenix or, you know, old Chicago Stadium, all those things. It felt very different. I felt like a college atmosphere. So still great environments, just a different feel.
David, we've talked a lot about X-Files in these playoffs.
Yeah.
You've never really kind of experienced a loss just as a head coach, like, you know, game 2.
Game 3, you know, lives.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
What is your personal kind of, how does that sit with you, you know, mentally? What are you doing kind of behind the scenes in the moments that nobody sees to sort of cope with that and bounce back from it personally?
It's just a loss. I know that they broke records or whatever, but it's 1-1. I didn't feel embarrassment. I felt like they played great and we played bad, and it's sports, and sometimes that happens. For me, mentally, I don't know, man. I just do what I do. I go home and hang out with my kids, meet a buddy, grab a beer. I don't know. I do what normal people do, with the caveat that I need to work hard and watch tape and make sure we're prepared. But this is a big deal. It's the playoffs. But when you leave this arena or you leave a film session, you have to check out. You have to, mentally. If you can't do that, you're not going to perform well as a coach or a player or whoever has a responsibility in the next game. So, yeah, I mean, the mental health thing is a big deal. X-Files is awesome, I agree. But, yeah, I don't know. you just have to check out for a second. You really do. There's so many times where you're checking out and you go, I really want to go back and watch this film again. But you got to take the time, and you got to take a couple hours, and you dive back into it so you can properly look at it professionally, and do the right things.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
No, that was hilarious. I didn't recognize him at all. I mean, I went to the show, but I had no idea. Same age as my brother, actually.
I've had it sent to me.
Pause, everybody.
You were, the shots. Yeah, you probably did the same. They're amazing. Fun to make that. Yeah.
I've never seen it. I'll try and not loud yet. I don't think it'll be too loud yet. You could sit in the second level. We have two seats in the second level. I understand. You do your thing with it. Put me on the radio. No. That door obviously. Okay, that's fine, yeah, I'll be on the court.
I will say this, as long as he doesn't take too many, it's a really nice spot. Beautiful park. My guys are all fireworks.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm always like, okay. One usually knows.
I got another thing.
What's your theory?
Because they become, every arena is loud. Every arena is a decimal point. It's not beyond there.
Sure. It all sounds the same.
It's all the same. It's all the same.
Interesting.
We're fine. Thank you.
You're tickling the wrong crowd, bro.
And it comes fresh.
He loves regret.
They
Wearing the seatbelt.
Your words, not mine. That's what we did this week. It's hard to get criticism too, right? It's like when you do a place, all the same 2 hours.
Can't all live under the bright lights of their homes.
They got radios. Sure.
It is fun to do actually. I like reading too. Yeah, it's so loose. It's such a really tight line.
How we doing?
Mark, I'm not sure if you feel like the officiating, I mean, I know it's different crews, I'm not sure if you feel like it's changed from game to game, but being in this building, switching, going from last game, are you bracing for, the physicality that's allowed, or the physicality you're allowed to show? Are you bracing for that to change at all?
We're not going to guess. There's an element of understanding how the game's going to get called in every game. We'll go into the game tonight like any other game and try to calibrate that and play within that. We don't want to be in foul trouble. We don't want to be in the bonus. So understanding that is important. I know that's been a story to this point, and teams use the media to try to gain an edge in the playoffs. But the way we're looking at it is, these are the best officials in the league. If they're influenced by that, then there's a problem. They shouldn't be working the game. We trust that they're going to go out there and call the game fairly and consistently. If we don't feel like that's the case, we'll have something to say about it. But for the most part, we're trying to stay focused more on the things we can control, and the officiating, our opponent. Those are things that are outside of our control.
Hey Coach, Coach Adelman was just in here kind of laying out his theory on why maybe road teams have been so successful in these playoffs. What's your take on that? Is it noise just becoming noise and it's just you're used to it, or why do you think road teams are so successful this playoff series, this playoff run? Big way.
Road teams?
Road teams.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not contesting it. I understand a lot of road teams have won, but ultimately we're just trying to stay focused on what we need to do to win the game, home or road. Ultimately the game gets played in between the lines. The environments impact the feel of the game, but if we can stay focused tonight in obviously a great environment on what we need to do, we have confidence that we can win the game.
Coach, obviously the defensive scheme is a collective effort, but how important has Lou been in stopping or slowing down Jamal Murray so far?
I mean, Lou's important to us every night because every good team has a point of attack player on the perimeter that you have to deal with. Denver's no exception. Obviously, Murray's a great player, a great shot maker. So Lou's critical for us every night. He's certainly critical for us in this series. Murray's a guy that when he gets going, it really ignites their team. They lean on him in pressure situations, and so just like Jokic, anything we can do to just blunt that a little bit. You're not going to shut those guys down with the volume that they're coming at you with and how talented they are, but if you can just defeat one more screen, not let them gain an advantage on one more screen, contest one more shot, that stuff adds up over the course of 48 minutes in all these games. Lou's done great so far. I thought Lou was a great tone setter for us in game 2.
Mark, what are some of the keys of disrupting entry passes to the post like you guys did in game 2?
I mean, a lot of it's activity. Like I said, we don't want to pick up fouls in those situations, so showing your hands, using your feet, using speed, using activity. And then the guy on the ball is important too, applying pressure to the handler or backing off the handler, depending on who it is. But that's a huge key for this team. If you can prevent catches or extend catches, that's similar to the Murray answer. That stuff just adds up over the course of the game. And against players that are, Jokic is as potent as anybody when he gets the ball. So making him work for the ball, making him work for deep catches, preventing him from getting the ball on some plays, that stuff all adds up. If you can get 3 possessions like that in a game, that's huge.
Coach, Michael Porter Jr. is clearly not 100%. He's talked about it a bunch, and he's not using it as an excuse, and his teammates are saying the same thing. But how can you attack a guy who's clearly limited in what he can do?
It's not like a huge, focus area in terms of the injury. We have an offensive game plan going against them generally that includes all the players that they play, all 6 or 7 guys. He's obviously one of them. We're aware of his strengths and weaknesses as a player. That's part of a playoff series, is understanding that, but we're not looking at it relative to the injury. We're looking at it relative to his impact on both ends of the floor.
Mark, just going back to the entry passes, what have you liked about Dove's activity in different spots and sort of the influence he's had on Jokic's catches?
It's just, he's, as usual, the versatility. He's switched on to him a couple times and able to do that. He pressures the handler at different times. You can throw him on Gordon at different times. He can switch on to Murray. There's a lot of different things he can do. I think his length and athleticism and then competitive will, is a nice blend for any defensive assignment that he has. But if you've got him on Jokic, if you've got a small on Jokic, you got to lean into that stuff because he's going to be bigger, and he's got an unbelievable ability to carve out space and get the ball. He's got great hands.
Mark, throughout the season, we talked about you guys seeing zone and cross matching and a few of the things that have been applied so far in the series. What have you made about maybe the work that you all did against that during the regular season, and if it's paying dividends here so far in the series?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits we've had the last 2 years in the regular season is, we've played well enough to draw schemes out of our opponents that we're going to need to attack in the postseason. Last year's postseason, some of the schemes we saw were schemes we saw in the regular season. We had an understanding of those, the trade-offs, the way we want to attack them, the strengths, the weaknesses, all that. This year's no different. This team will mix in a lot of zone. This team will put Jokic. They're trying to keep Jokic near the basket. He's in the paint quite a bit, and so they'll move things around and get him down there so that he's a rim deterrent or